What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Tell Mom podcast. We
What
are
up?
coming at you in quarantine or social distancing. I can't breathe with this thing on.
Actually, we're on Skype right now.
Yeah, so if the audio is a little messed up or in and out, we're Skyping because
I don't want Cullen to hear me.
yeah, we can't afford or risk anything. It's getting serious.
It is getting serious. I'm nervous.
I know. Like last time we were podcasting, we were talking about like zombie apocalypse stuff, and a lot of what we talked about last time still is true.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's still like my fear has just risen. I mean, the only difference is I have more gray hairs this week.
that is crazy. Let's see what's happened in the past week. Like it's everything. I think before we filmed our last podcast, the schools weren't even closed yet.
Oh, we didn't even have any cases in Alabama. Like I went to the beach last week,
Oh
and
yeah,
I don't think that there was even any cases in Alabama because Alabama was one of the last states to get it here. And then since then, there's like there's thousands, and I don't know.
yeah. It's like doubling. And that's the sign of like it's only going to get worse before it gets better because the number of cases doubles every 2 days or something.
Yeah, well, that's you got to take into consideration the fact that they're just now testing, so people
Yeah.
could have had this whole time, but we didn't know they were just hadn't been tested for it yet. But I imagine that number is going to go way up. I was actually listening this morning to the Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking to a guy that's like an expert in infectious diseases, and he sounded like he knew what he was talking about, and it makes me like a little bit even more nervous.
Yeah. I think I listened to that same one. He's like a viral.
And
Yeah, and he was just saying. And there was one point in the podcast where Joe was like, "So are we prepared?" or something like that, or like, "Are we good?" And the guy was like, yeah, we're not even close to being good." And he like paused. Go ahead.
I said, this is just the beginning," is what he was saying. He was like, "No,
Yeah.
there's, this is everybody's preparing for like a snowstorm when they should be preparing for the winter."
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking like, "Oh, okay, we're just gonna shut down the schools for a couple weeks, and everybody quarantine for 2 weeks and then come out." And it's like, no, that's not how this is going to work. Because in 2 weeks, then you're going to start seeing all the people that are sick from 2 weeks before, and it's going to keep going. And it's just like, it's not a snowstorm, Cullen. It's the winter. The winter is coming.
Yeah, I think I said that on the last podcast. Everybody was going to stock up on toilet paper and milk and bread, and instead of,
Yeah. People are upset. Yeah, I think that there's a line that when it comes to that stuff, I think there's a line that shouldn't be crossed. Like, I think you should prepare, but not at the expense of other people being able to prepare a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, these people that are buying truckloads of toilet paper, that's ridiculous. But the people that are buying like, an extra thing, like two big things instead of their normal one big thing, I don't think those people are wrong for doing that. I don't think I was wrong for getting a couple more than I normally would because we're going to need it.
Yeah.
Who knows what's about to happen.
And see, I just rubbed my eyes and I'm like all paranoid. Oh man.
How many days have you been home, Cullen?
Jesus. It's been we had to get out the other day and just go to the park because I started like I don't know, it's like cabin fever, I guess. You start to just feel like that depression set in of like, what the hell? And see, Katie had taken the kids and ran to the post office or something and like hand sanitized and did everything and didn't even let them get out or anything like that. But I stayed here, and so she'd gotten out like 2 times, and I realized I was like, I haven't even been out of this house other than like walking on the golf course in the afternoon. And just once you get out from under the trees and see like the world is still kind of running here and there, It made me feel better. So I did go get Aldi, and I think some Sam's and WalMarts have stocked back up on some toilet paper. So,
Okay. No, my neighbor actually brought us a pack of paper towels yesterday. And some juice and a case of water. She's so sweet. She's an older lady, and so and her husband just passed, so they're in their I think 70s or 80s or something. But it's kind of cool. She's like ex CIA. She used to work for the CIA.
ooh,
I know, right? I was like, oh, we got like a spy next door, and we're convinced that the guy that lives across the street from us is also a spy. We've seen like the Hoover police pull up, and him like what, but he drives like a normal truck. But then there's like cars in his driveway, and we just can't quite figure him out. And his name's Terry. Like, is that really your name, Terry?
isn't it
Terry.
funny? It's funny how we speculate that these people's lives around us. Like we do the same thing, and we're like, I bet they, you first of all you say what do you think their name would be if you met them? We do that game. Like he looks like a Claude or he looks like a Jameis.
James.
And then we're like, okay, what do you think he's doing right now? And all that kind of stuff. But we always wonder what people think about us when we're out there throwing their kids in ball pits of Orbeez with a drone and a camera and stuff.
That's the Terry.
Yeah, Karen.
I don't think anybody's. I don't think anybody's guessed Cullen, but we're convinced that we have we have the whole rainbow on our street, and we have people from all over the country and different countries. There's an Asian couple with our family across the street that are actually born and raised in Toronto, which is crazy because that's where Corey's from. So Corey gets out there
Yeah.
and he neighbors and he's all about it. I stay indoors and look out the window and just guess.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in us. He's like over here. He went out yesterday. We had the girl that watches our dog and is the daughter. She just turned 14 yesterday. Was her birthday, which sucks because it's like having a birthday during the quarantine. It's like that. But it was her birthday, and so they were doing a social distancing barbecue in our neighborhood yesterday. And I told Corey, I was like, I'm not even going out there. Send her this present. I had some like, a little pack of fingernail polish that I think I'd bought for Allie and never seen her to give it to her. But I sent him with the present. Was like, tell him I said have fun. I'm
Yeah.
pregnant. Another, but it's funny that they were all kind of keeping their distance. And Chris, the dad, was barbecuing, and everybody from the neighborhood kind of came out and we're just all standing around 10 feet apart.
I've seen memes like that where it's like had dinner with the neighbors, and
Yeah.
it was like two people on their same port on their own porch, and they were eating dinner on their porches, but just talking across the street. Like,
Yeah.
how's it going, Terry? But that was the weird part about it. When I went out the other day and restocked our toilet paper, was one seeing everybody with gloves on. I didn't have gloves on, but either gloves on or a mask on. And anytime you would come with somebody down an aisle, it would be like everybody kind of.
It was like, sup. Now, that might have been your experience. That was not my experience at the grocery store yesterday. Corey was home. He still has to work. He's a tradesman. They don't care if there's a pandemic or not with his job. He's got to go inspect those welds, buddy.
Oh man.
Doing his part. But he had to leave he's going for 10 days. 10 days as of right now, maybe a month to South Carolina, which sucks because I'm like, how you going to leave? That's during a pandemic. And then what if you get it and then they quarantine you and you can't come home? And then what if you do get it and you don't know, and then you come home and you bring it to us? And I've just been a Miss Worry Ward. So,
I bet.
but I was going to say so they were out there with the neighbors yesterday. Well, we've got some great neighbors, but the lady next door, Corey mows ever since her husband passed. Corey's been like mowing her yard every time he mows our yard. So yesterday before it rained, he wanted to go mow the yard, and he mowed our yard and then mowed her yard. And then yesterday afternoon, we saw there's a bunch of stuff on our porch from Miss Moore, our older neighbor. paper towels and waters and juice packs and all this stuff from her with a card that was like, "Thank you for everything y'all do for me," and blah blah blah. And I thought that was so sweet, and I couldn't help thinking like I felt so bad because she's 70 something years old and she's out there finding toilet paper. I'm too scared to go down to the neighborhood social distance gathering. I mean, I'm like, I don't think so.
That's interesting. We'll probably touch on that here in a minute as far as like the some of the stats and the or the good news in this whole thing. But I wanted to. You mentioned birthday parties during the coronavirus. I was like, I read something, or Katie showed me something the other day about like how they're limiting. And I was going to ask you, like, what are your freaking fears about having a baby during this? Because
I'm my thing, dude. Is I'm like, I told Corey, I said, you know what, babe? Like, it's getting scary. I wasn't really that worried about it a week ago. Like, I was, but I was just kind of like, I wasn't wearing a mask or anything like that because I was just like, Alabama's going to be the last place that gets it. We're safe, you know. And now that it's all over the place and there's 100 and something, cases in my county, that I'm looking at everybody suspicious. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But I didn't go anywhere, so we went. I did go out yesterday to the grocery store. Corey went to the grocery store the day before that, and then Miss Moore, our neighbor, brought us a bunch of stuff, so that was nice. But we've been like trying to stock up, not to the point where we're like other people can't get something off the shelf. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I've been in Publix. I've been calling my grocery store and been like, do y'all have anything yet? And so yesterday they had a truck come in, and I knew it because I've been calling them before we go anywhere, and just to get milk for my baby.
Yeah.
Like, Sophia's off of formula and she's on to just whole milk now. And she goes through a bunch of whole milk, you know what I mean? Like a day. Like a gallon doesn't last but a couple days. And we've been doing like almond milk and stuff too, because the other day we had to buy almond milk because there was no milk on the shelves. And I'm just going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Luckily, there was some diapers. The truck that came into our grocery store down here had milk on it, diapers, and a little bit of meat. And the guy, when I called before I went yesterday, I said, did y'all's truck come in? He said, yes, it got here about an hour ago. I said, do y'all have meat on that truck? Because when I called before, they said, we don't even know what's going to be on this truck. Like, we don't even know anymore. We're just waiting for trucks to come in, and then whatever's on it, we unload, and it sells out. So he said the last truck, we got meat in, and it was all gone within 2 hours. So I'd hurry if I were.
Golly.
And I was like, okay, well, I got to go. So I went up there, and I got, I spent $100 and got a bunch of stuff. And I feel okay right now, but, like, as far as us not having to leave the house for the next 10 days while Corey's out of town for work, like we're stocked up. Me and Sophie are okay. We don't have to go anywhere. But I've got my doctor's appointment at the baby doctor tomorrow. And so I was going to call today and be like, hey, am I still supposed to come? I'm supposed to get an ultrasound done. I haven't been in 3 weeks. And, you're supposed to go every 2 weeks while you're in your third trimester. And so I'm already behind on my appointments. And then I'm supposed to get ultrasound this one. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm scared to go to the baby doctor right now because I'm pregnant and I don't want to catch it, and I have to take my baby with me because I don't have anybody to watch my baby while I go to the hospital. The hospital's like the last place you want to go right now because
Yeah.
I'm infected while I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And then I was telling Corey, I said, if anything ever happened, because this whole thing about it just being older folks, that's not true.
Yeah.
And so like I was reading an article yesterday where the 7-month-old baby had it, and I was just like, okay, that's it. Sophia's not leaving the house again. And I told Corey yesterday, I said, if anything ever happened to her, I would never forgive myself. If anything ever happened to Lily, the baby that is not here yet, I would never forgive myself.
Yeah.
So we're not doing it.
Well, I read or I saw that they're like even like saying the husbands can't be in the room anymore as of right now. Like when you're having the baby, like it's just you and the doctor, and that because that's what I heard. I don't know if that's in Alabama or if that's starting somewhere else, but I was like, that's crazy. Like the freaking husbands can't even. join in on the whole experience. They just,
That's gonna suck, and I hate that. But like a part of me just wants him to be at home safe with Sophia.
yeah, that too.
I
Yeah,
can handle, you know what I mean. I'm
yeah,
strong enough to give me my epidural, and I'll be fine.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. You'll see the baby when she gets here. Um, I,
I don't know if they be born. I don't know if she can be born. I need to like Google it, but I don't know if she can be born with it. I want to say that I heard something about how the mothers that have it that are having babies, they're passing it on to their babies.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh jeez.
Apparently, it is true from what I can understand from like the sources that I've found that seem reliable anyway, like these doctors, the infectious doctor, they were saying like it's it can be in a child and a child can have it but not be symptomatic.
Hmm.
So and even that goes all the way up to all ages. It's like I can have it and it not affect me. It's just like a little cold for me, and but then I come and I cough on you, or it's in the air because we're in the same room, and then you get it and it kills you.
Yeah, totally.
It's just like one of those things. It's like a hit or miss. Are you gonna? Is it gonna kill you, or is it you gonna be fine? We don't know.
I saw an article the other day. A 99-year-old lady successfully conquered coronavirus, and I mean, so just like you said, hit or miss. I saw a tweet the other day from Charles Trippy, kind of going back to what you were saying about hoarding everything, and
I go
he said, if you're hoarding diapers and baby wipes, may a pile of shit rain down on your face.
right. I've been seeing a lot of those too. Like this one lady, she started crying because she was filming and she was at the store and it showed the baby aisle, the diaper aisle, and she started crying. She's like, "How am I going to diaper my child?" She has 4 kids, and she couldn't because everybody's taking all of it. And I don't know. It's just like a part of me. It's like you can't blame people for wanting to go out and get stuff. Like that's what you're doing there.
Yeah,
You're there doing the same thing, trying to get some. So you can't get mad at folks for doing that because they're scared and everybody's scared and it's all fear driven. But it's like at the same time, the people that are trying to do it to make a profit and that are buying like those are the people that burn in hell.
it goes to show you this whole experience. It's been talked about how this has never happened in our lifetime, and I hope it doesn't happen again. But like for our kids experiencing this, and how you have to make it like the best experience for them. But like it just goes to show you how we as a society or an economy aren't prepared for something like this. And I heard Joe Rogan talking about this too, about how like the bombarding of everybody all at once freaking out, and how it just will close, it'll shut down the whole entire world. He said, imagine if there's an earthquake and everybody, like a world quake, and
Yeah,
everybody tried to use their cell phones all at the same time. The cell phone towers would just crash because nobody's prepared for that much of anything. And
right.
we're all everything's prepared for like steady flow back and forth constantly, but not just whoom. And
Yeah.
that's what's so scary is this was just a whoom. Everybody freaked out, and now we're all. That's what's going to be scary is when the grocery stores and the hospitals and everything shut down, because if it does get that bad, I mean, right now I think everything emergency wise is still open, and like Amazon's not even shipping it, or you can't sell things on Amazon unless it's for medical purposes or something. Like people that do Amazon selling and stuff, or something like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. I mean, like there's so much news coming in, Cullen, about it, and every time you turn on and people need that. They need the constant stream of like people talking about it and figuring it out together and all that stuff. But it's like there's so much news out there. It's like you don't really know what is 100% real, what's not. Like people, you see everybody with masks on. I'm doing it too, just because I'm thinking like if it's just it might help, but
Yeah,
then you got these people that are saying it's not really for that. That's probably not going to help you.
yeah,
You know, antibacterial soap is the best thing that you can do. But then the guy's saying, well, it's not really. You can get it from touching your face, but that's not really why people are getting it like this. They're getting it because it's in the air. You
yeah.
can't stop.
That's what
You,
we were saying. Like, what's the point of gloves? Because we're still trying to sell our house, and we've had another showing requested for later this week, and we've almost like gotten to the point where we're not allowing any more showings right now. because it's so, you know, so pertinent in the whole environment. And we're doing like a virtual tour, if anything. But then we're like, well, we could leave some hand sanitizer and gloves out for them. But then we're like, what's the point of gloves? Because I mean, if you go in and you touch a doorknob and you open the door with a glove on, yeah, that's good. But then you're walking through the house and you wipe your nose and then you touch another doorknob, the glove doesn't do any good. Like you're still got the crap on your glove and then you're spreading it to another doorknob. So every time we had a showing, we go back through every room and Lysol all the stuff because we're like, I don't know, scary.
It's so scary, Cullen. What am what am I gonna do with this new baby?
I don't know. One of the things that is also kind of scary is I've been like craving Chinese food, but now I'm like scared to even eat Chinese food.
Me too. That was last week we talked about this. I like went to the all you can eat Chinese buffet and was like, and then it wasn't until after I was almost done that I was like, wonder if any of these people went home for the weekend. But like I don't know. And it's I think that it's just hit or miss. Like you've been hearing all these celebrities that have been getting it, huh?
Yeah,
Like my favorite Andy from Bravo that does Watch What Happened Live, and he's like he does all the news on all the housewives and stuff, which I love those little reality shows. Well, he got it, and so they're not doing his show anymore, which is the live show.
yeah,
Runs for now. And then the guy, the Bachelor, the last Bachelor, Colton,
yeah,
he got it, and I think he's with his girlfriend Cassie or whatever. I don't know if you're still Bachelor Nation or not, but
yeah.
they're like together. They got it. I think she has it too. I don't know. I mean, I imagine if she's quarantined with him and he has it, then she probably has it too. I don't know.
And that's probably just because they travel so much. Like Tom Hanks, we talked about last time, was in Australia, and he's doing fine supposedly. But like, I guess the celebrities that are always on the go are more susceptible to it.
Yeah, and then we got all these senators getting it now, so the whole Senate's getting it. I mean, Cullen.
It's
That's the thing, though. It doesn't discriminate. It's like it doesn't matter who, what, how old, how young, what color you are. It doesn't discriminate. If you're around and it's in the air, it's gonna get you. You know.
yeah, yeah. And I've seen. I watched a video last week after we filmed, and I think there's even medical setups here now where you can do a drive-through screening, and they've got you set up to where this guy did like a whole vlog of it where it was 6 in the morning. His appointment was at 7, and then they had him going through these like traffic cones, and then he didn't roll his window down, and all these people were in hazmat suits. It was like something straight out of like a freaking doomsday movie, and they were like wiping the water off his window because it was pouring down rain, and he was holding his ID up to the window, and then they were like writing it in, and they were wearing gloves with duct tape and all this stuff, and then 2 hours later he gets to this one checkpoint, and she's like, roll your window down, roll your window down. And like as soon as he rolled it down real quick, she like swabbed his nose, made him like gag, and then
Yeah,
and then she like,
all the way back.
oh.
It's like, but worse. I
But
think.
then like she can't do anything, so then they have to like she has to go off and get quarantined or like wash off immediately because they can't reuse those gloves. Apparently, it was just like this is crazy.
Can you believe this is happening, Cullen? I mean, this is
No,
our world right now. What if it doesn't get better? Like I'm like Corey's still he's keeping it together. I think for our family, but like I'm gonna be the panic one, and I'm like, what if it doesn't get better though? And what if it like gets worse? Or what if they can't come up with a vaccine, or they can't? And then I've been trying to like listen to professionals and like experts and stuff more than just whatever I see on Facebook. But like the guy that I was saying, that doctor, he was like, eventually, you're gonna like if everybody gets it. Let's say everybody gets it. And remember last week I told you about that guy that was it was like an official document that he said 92 million Americans were gonna get it with 500,000 deaths.
yeah,
Well, this morning I'm listening to this Joe Rogan or whatever, and this doctor's saying the same thing. Like that he was like 480,000 people are gonna die. and 93 million are going to be infected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, that's the potential of this thing. He's like, it's 10 to 15 times worse than the flu. And the flu, kills thousands of people every year, mostly the older, like weakened immune system, stuff like that. So it's a lot like that. It's just a lot worse. And he's like, you just don't understand. Everybody's like, oh, it's not that bad. The flu kills more people, or drunk driving kills more people than this, and blah, blah, blah. And that's like their thing to try to rationalize in their head, like it's not the end of the world. But really, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, we hadn't even really got into this thing and what it's about to do and what it can do. And it's like, what if it gets really, really bad? What if it's worse? What if it's twice as bad as what they're predicting it's going to be?
Well, one of the good things is from what I've heard is China is slowed down as far as cases, and then even our local cases have slowed down because there last week it was like doubling every 2 days, which is like horrible, like a bad sign, like it's really spreading fast. But then I think just yesterday I saw it was like the first day all week that the cases of people having it hadn't doubled. So I was like, okay. And then I think even on last week's podcast, somebody in West Virginia commented and were like, we don't have any cases reported yet. But that's because they hadn't had testing yet. And now West Virginia is like one of the top leading in the amount of cases, from what I remember. I don't know. But
well, like I was doing, everybody's going out all willy-nilly, like, oh, well, we don't have any cases yet here, so we're in the clear. It's like, no, we actually had lots of cases. We just hadn't tested for them yet. We didn't know we had cases yet.
yeah.
But it's so fast. Like, just in the last week, Cullen, the amount, it's gone from what, like 3,000, and now it's like 15,000 or something. I mean, it's like so much in the last week.
It's crazy.
Happening so fast, and it just makes me so nervous, and I just, like, I don't even know what to do with myself. But I know that it's going to be a while. Oh, and this is what I was going to say was that, like what the doctor was saying was eventually, like, let's say 80% of the population gets it, and then whoever dies from that dies, whoever survives from it survives. But then everybody that's left, that's already had it, now you have it in your system, and you've built up an immunity towards it, so you're less likely to get it again, right? So he's like, eventually that's what's going to happen, is that there's going to be so many people that have already had it and gotten better from it that are kind of immune to it at this point, that it's going to slow down because there's not so many people, fresh bodies. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I was kind of confused about. Is it like the chicken pox? Like, once you get it one time, you can't get it again? Because you can get the flu every year, or you can get sick with the flu. So I'm like, it's one of those? But and then kind of like what you were saying last week, it was like, what if this thing starts to mutate and we all become these crazy zombies? Because these things are like, there's an L strand and a Y strand now and so you're trying to create a vaccine.
Yeah, I think happen, but by then we're gonna have already had like medicine to help and vaccines and stuff like that. But like, I think that like eventually, like once you get sick with anything, I think that after that, like if it's new to you, then after that, like your immune system has built up a response for that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what that doctor was saying. It was like that, it's going to slow down because so many people have already going to had it that they're not going to get it again because their body automatically knows. Our bodies are amazing things. You know what I mean? Like, our body already knows, oh, we just had this a month ago, so we already know what to do. Let's nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was an article you sent me, and this was the good news, is that like you said, most people recover. It says estimates now suggest that 99% of people infected will recover. 99% of people infected will recover. Children seem to be infected less often and with a milder case. The number of new cases is falling where the outbreak began. So, like, I was just saying earlier, China is slowly declining. So that's good, I think. I don't know. What's a side note? I heard some conspiracy theory again, or some stupid crap about there's some racism or some crazy extreme racist groups out there that are like being told through there was like an FBI forum or something that somebody posted trying to tell these people to infect, that they know they're tested positive, to go infect like law enforcement and stuff of a different race or color and stuff. Just to, I was like, what? I don't know if that's true or not, but
Hey,
that's,
Cullen, what I was saying last too, though, was that there are these sick, twisted mother effers out there that are like, they know that they have it. You've seen that video. I'm sure it's gone viral by now, where the guy's on the train and he's got a mask on. He has COVID-19. He knows he has it, and when no one's looking, he like puts his fingers in his mouth and then rubs his dirty, infected hand all over the pole and is like trying to get other people sick. That's what the kind of people are in this world. That's
yeah.
what's there's even people like that. It's like, what? How can that be your?
That's the thing too, is like it can stay, the virus is like once you touch something, I mean I think it's like a week, like a or something.
Metal. It's like 2 or 3 days on cardboard, or it's 2 or 3 days on plastic. I think 1 day on cardboard. So you think all these companies that are shipping stuff, it could have it?
Yeah, we actually Googled that because we were like, what do we do? Katie, we had some stuff Amazon last week, and she was like, "What do I do? Like, She sprayed off the box with Lysol." But one article we read was that said, leave the box out in the sun for 24 hours. But like, what if you need it? Like, that's why you ordered it. I don't know. So
I don't even know if that'll work, because it's like that guy, the doctor was saying this morning. He said that like everybody's saying there's this myth like, oh well, when the heat comes, it's gonna kill it off.
mm-hmm.
But no, it's 105 degrees in China. What are you talking about? Heat doesn't. It's not seasonal.
Yeah, I heard Rick and Bubba talking about that with one of the people at UAB, professionals, saying that it's that's a theory, but it's still too early to tell. But because the virus thrives in colder climate. But yeah,
It's in China, in Wuhan.
yeah,
So it doesn't even make sense to me at all. Anyway, I'm nervous for all of the doctors and the nurses and stuff out there that are like on the front lines. One of the good things, you were talking a little bit about the good news. One of the good things that we can say, and some of the silver linings, I think, from this are going to be, the fact that there are a lot of people kind of coming together, helping feed the kids that are out of school, and, like just little random acts of kindness. Like the guy was reading this one article, the guy's in the store, and the grandmother behind him, asked the clerk, do y'all have any toilet paper yet? And the clerk says no. And he's like, I have a roll here. You can have mine. You know what I mean? Like these little acts of kindness that I think are natural to happen when something like this happens. You got that side of it. And then you've got the side where the guy's coughing on the railroad.
yeah,
So it's like, I don't know, good and evil are going to kind of balance each other out, right? But like the nurses and the doctors, there's thousands of them that are putting themselves right in front of it, that are getting it. And then like the guy was saying in Milan or whatever, they're not even testing the doctors and nurses. If you do test positive, you're not severely coughing, you're still going to work.
yeah,
That you're going to work to treat already have it too.
yeah. Well, and that's true. And then there's also the other positive, as far as it. We're such a fast-paced world and society, and everything's on demand. And this has like really made us all slow down, put ourselves back in touch with reality, with our families. Like I think it's like Friday from 2 weeks ago right now, because I'm in like the twilight zone with the kids being home, but I'm also like trying to.
Long weekend till you get one, right?
Yeah, I woke up on Saturday and I was like, wait, it's been Saturday all week. It feels like.
Yeah.
But the other thing is all of the teachers.
Like get your kind of like center yourself again if you use this time to do that.
Yeah.
Or you use this time to just eat Cheetos and watch murder mysteries.
Yeah. I know.
Anyways, I was like, when I'm not playing with Sophia, when she's napping, I'm watching like murder mysteries and
Yeah, I'm like bored out of my mind now. But the teachers,
14.
yeah, the teachers from the schools are every day posting on the Facebook page, reading a book to the kids, and then they're getting the kids to read books to the pets, and then posting that so we can still see our friends from school and still see the teachers' faces. And at night, we'll pull up the Facebook page and let one of the teachers from the week read them a book. And so that's
That's
been nice. Trying to keep that routine has been really hard because they don't understand what's going on. I mean,
imagine what it's like for people with the school age kids, like for y'all that are just used to them being at school, during the week, and then to have them home. It's like, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I told Corey yesterday, I was like, it's like Christmas. Everything's closed. We're all
yes,
like, we got to stay in with our family. But every day is like Groundhog Day and Christmas is the same. They've been putting, I know your neighborhood, I think, is doing it. My neighborhood Facebook group is talking about putting up Christmas tree lights
this
again.
past Sunday, ours were supposed to go up just to light up. Everybody's not just putting out Christmas lights; they're putting out like all the holidays. Like there's some with Halloween decorations up that have like the tombstones that say "Wash your hands" in the yard, and yeah, so we were able to get out and kind of walk around or drive around and see that, and the kids love that.
Tape, I was thinking about running that around our house.
Caution tape, yeah.
Just get the neighborhood talking. Like, I think they have it.
Yeah. So
Just
there,
for decorations, but I mean, that's so it's good that people are like trying to be, optimistic and trying to like you can get in your car and go drive around and see the Christmas tree lights and stuff like that. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's just the weirdest feeling. Like one thing I guess that's good is that you do definitely feel connected to everybody else in the world, and thank God there's the internet. And so you can get online and you and I can still hang out and Skype each other. Like so that's a plus is that we have
yes.
this happening in 1980. Like when there's no TV and no you can't get news all the time from your cell phone at the tips of your finger. You know what I mean? Like
I've
so the
seen I've seen. I recently re-downloaded Marco Polo, and ever since then, I get notifications. And like just in the past week on that app, I've gotten like 10 people, 10 notifications that are like, so and so is back on Marco Polo. So and so is back on Marco Polo for the first time in a long time. And then it's the same reason I got back on Marco Polo is because some of my friends from the internet that from this YouTube thing, Brian and Jared and Missy and Ellie and all them were like, let's keep in touch that way because it's free video chat. I mean, it's so it just like you said, the internet.
stuff, yeah. So the internet's been a plus. I think another positive is that after this is all said and done, and after it's over, I think that it's going to show the world that we need to be more prepared. Like we're ready for a missile strike, right? If anybody comes and tries to like bomb us or whatever, we're ready. We've got billions and billions and trillions of dollars invested in nuclear weapons and all that stuff. Well, we should have had a little bit of those. Maybe 1 billion of that invested in was masks and ventilators. Like,
Yes.
so this is like a learning curve. Now we know, okay, for the next time this happens, hopefully it doesn't ever happen again, but I mean, it probably will. Mother Nature is a bitch, so I imagine it's going to happen again. We're going to be a little bit more prepared next time because of this, I think.
Yeah.
There's a little silver lining for you, I guess.
Yeah. That's funny because, like you said, we're prepared for that asteroid coming towards us. At the end of the day, we're just a big ass ball floating in this universe that could just get hit by anything, and we're almost prepared for that. Like we could blast something coming at us and disperse it, but then there's this microscopic little thing that we can't even see that's like taking out the whole world in
Yeah,
weeks.
I tiny. It's this tiny little particle in the air that we breathe, Cullen. There is no stopping something that's in the air. Like that's the scariest part.
I've got to send you a video, and anybody listening or watching this, go look up Mark Rober. He did this experiment on how quick germs spread in a school, and he puts this like glow dust on this. He has like three controlled students where he powders their hands, and then puts them all in a line, and then the teacher, as they're coming into the classroom, shakes three hands only and lets the other people go by. And then they turn off all the lights and do like a black light test at the end of the day. And only three or one, I can't remember the experiment. Go watch Mark Rober's latest video. But it was insane seeing how after only one or two people were infected, the whole classroom was covered with the stuff. Like, and even on the kids' faces, it was just like, oh, so eye opening. Like, I don't want my kids going back to school now.
It's everywhere. No.
It was horrible.
Oh man, there's the good germs and there's the bad ones. What are you doing, like Cullen? What are y'all literally doing to, like, right now, like to pass the time? Like, what is your?
We are trying to keep a structure as much as possible, and still not be asshole parents, but like
I see your kids wear different costumes every day. Corey looked at me yesterday. He goes, "These kids are just gonna grow up thinking they're superheroes."
Yeah, well, that's like during creative playtime or whatever. But so we at 11 o'clock essentially right now. Well, first of all, we try to start off the day with no TV time or no screen time, because if you start that off with them, and I'm sure a lot of parents can agree, they just end up being like cranky assholes for the rest of the day. So you start them off with like some type of craft or activity of some sort, and then around 11 o'clock we turn on the TV, but we don't let them watch just some toy channel on YouTube. They're watching like a learning channel like Super Y, which is like teaches you how to spell, and like Word Girl. She's like a superhero girl that spells words and
The time, yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. And then after that, I mean, yesterday was Sunday, so we just like literally let them chill on the iPads all day long. But during the week, like during the school week, Katie's even like laid their clothes out like they're going to school.
Yeah.
And Brooks got up this morning and put his clothes on all by himself, and he did. The first thing he asked this morning was, "Can I watch something?" And Katie was like, "No, it's a school day." He's like, "But we're not going to school because of the virus." This 3-year-old and knows like what the hell's going on, it seems. And we're like, "Well, you're not going to school because of the virus, but we're still acting as if you're going to school." And a lot of the teachers also, when everything started to get shut down, sent home like a packet of stuff. And so we'll pull out homework, and they'll have like a little homework session.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep it as structured as possible, like having a routine, because like you said, it literally feels like every day I'm like, is it 5 o'clock yet? Can I crack open that bottle of wine? And it's like a Tuesday, I'm like, wait a minute. I can't be doing this every night, like.
Don't know, like you're confused. Your body's thrown off by it. You're like,
Yeah.
what the? Well, I don't know. I think that I'm like a little bit more prepared than others because, well, I'm already staying home, so it's like I'm just kind of doing the same thing. It's just now, I mean, the only places I used to go was the grocery store anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think we kind of touched on that last time a little bit about like people saying, why don't you go out and get a real job, or really feeling that now.
Home, and it's like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah. Well, and me and Katie talked about this on one of our videos. Like, I would imagine that the divorce rate's probably going to increase after this, and then the suicide rate or the mental health rate. But then Katie was reading an article last night talking about like, what if there are couples out there, and y'all can leave an anonymous comment or a message on Anchor or something if there is, but that are having like marital issues or domestic abuse issues or child abuse issues, that are going through this, and they don't have the out of going to school or going to work now, and so and leaving the house just to get away, because you can't leave your house, so you're stuck with this abuser. And
I saw something about that on TV, like an article or something. They were going to talk about it, but That's so scary, Cullen. Is like these little kids that are getting the brunt force of the stress of the
Yeah.
parent. You said, yeah, and I was an alcoholic, but he pulled it together to go to work, and so they didn't get beat during the day, and then he comes, but now he doesn't have to go to work, so he's just drinking all day, and then
Yeah.
date. Yeah,
That's
I
what's
don't.
scary. And I think that's where me and Katie, in this sense, and you, and we've learned. Like, Katie knows when I just need my chill time to, like, just don't talk to me. And, like, we've kind of learned over the years of doing this. Like, I don't know.
With space.
Yeah, like, give me my space. I just want to chill out and not even, like, talk. I don't even want to hear your voice. Like, I don't mean that rudely, but, like, she knows that, and she's the same way with me. It's like, I when we talk about the budgeting stuff, that crap gets on my nerves anyway. Like, as far as the numbers go,
Yeah.
and then I have to go back and edit it, so I hear it twice. Like, and then it's just like by the end of the what?
2 or 3 times when you're editing it.
Yeah, and so by the end of the day, I'm like, up.
If you say 4, bitch.
Yeah. I'm like, don't talk to me, and she understands it now. Like, but on other days when I'm just editing a vlog or something's fun, I don't know. We've learned to work together over the years, so this isn't that tough yet on us, but we'll see what happens.
We're at the beginning of the winter,
Yes. Oh my
so
gosh.
I'm nervous about it. I've been doing for the last like 6 months. I've been doing a podcast on the side. That's not this one. It's another one that I've.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I had never said anything about it before. Well, I've been like procrastinating because I was like, well, I'm going to do 10 episodes before I publish it. And so I can have everything out at one time. So if you're one of those people who likes to binge listen to a podcast, then I'm going to have more than one episode. Whereas like on ours, we do it every week. So if you listen to ours today, this episode, you're going to have to wait a week to get another one.
Right.
A lot of people, I think from your advice and from Corey's advice that listen to even more podcasts than I do, was like, well, I like to binge listen, especially if you're driving in the car. Corey drives a lot for work, so he'll be in the car 5-6 hours and listen to a whole podcast, like from start to finish, So, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to get 10 episodes done in a season. I'm going to put it out seasons like Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
And so the idea was at first I was like, well, I'll do 2 or 3 at a time or whatever. Then I was like, no, let's do 5 and make that a season. And then I was like, no, let's do 10 because I had 7 interviews already that I had been doing. And a couple of them, the sound quality was so bad I could, I said I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it and see what happens. So. It's a podcast that's called Victims. It's very different from this one. I interview people that are victims of like heinous, horrible crimes.
It's been interesting hearing you talk about some of these interviews behind the scenes. Oh, I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I've just put it out and I haven't said, this is the first time I've ever said anything about it anywhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, so y'all are getting the first
exclusive announcement.
And I'm just gonna, and I eventually am gonna come out on all my socials and stuff and say something and get you to shout me out, all that stuff. Everybody that knows me, I'm gonna be like, hey, everybody, go tell people about this. But it's been really interesting, Cullen. I've got some really cool people on there. Like we're talking the last episode of this season, which I did 5, so I'm gonna do a 5-episode series, which they're about an hour long each. But each one of them is an interview with a victim of a crime. And this last one, just to give you an example, her name's Kathy Kleiner. She is a survivor of Ted Bundy.
So I listened to that podcast.
Yeah,
the Ted Bundy podcast.
Yeah, so a lot of people are kind of into this whole. I'm really into the true crime TV. I just watched the disappearance of Susan Cox Powell last night. If you haven't seen that, go watch it if you're into the crime. That is so bizarre, and the guy is so twisted oh my gosh, Cullen, that was like, I told Corey, I said, this is the craziest true crime show I think I've ever seen. And it's like this guy, he burns himself up with his kids in the house, and like, oh my God,
Oh my gosh.
I have to go watch that. It's on it's on YouTube TV. That's where I saw it, but it's probably all over the place. Anyway, I love stuff like that. Like that's what I like to watch, is the true crime kind of stuff. And so when I was like, I want to do another podcast just because I enjoy doing the podcasting. And you and I are already scheduled. We schedule it every week. But it's really easy to do a podcast with Anchor. It's super
Yeah.
easy to do it yourself. Just whenever I can be in my pajamas and no makeup and do it. It's not filmed or anything. But I've had some amazing guests on, like this railroad serial killer
Oh my gosh.
who killed 23 people along the railroads. He would use the railroads to like get on a train and travel through the country. His name was Angel Resendez, and the only survivor of his killing spree is this girl Holly. And she was one of my guests on. I interviewed her. And she like watched him kill her boyfriend next to her. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh.
Colin,
So
you
you've got 10 episodes up now?
have 5.
Oh, 5, okay.
I've done 7 interviews, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it nice, round, even like
Yeah.
nice. Do 5 episodes per season, and I'm going to put 5 out at one time. That's 5 hours of podcasting that you can binge if you want to listen to some good true crime.
Oh, I can't wait. And I'll leave a link in the description. It's called Victims.
Victims. It's called Victims. I'm doing it through Anchor. I don't know what all platforms I'm on. Like I said, I literally just published it last night just so my friends, and I could send the link to you guys, to my friends and family, to get like a little feedback. But hell, it's already out there. Might as well just leave it up.
I need to listen to it now. I saw that link come through. I was like, oh, she's announcing it. Okay, cool.
Unless in the next couple of days y'all are like, this is crap, Brittany, you need to take this off the internet, then maybe I'll put. But no, I'll probably announce it like on everything else within the next week or whatever. So I've been doing that. That's what I've been doing, keeping busy. I was like, I wanted to finish it. Like I had the interviews, but I didn't have the intros and the outros and all that stuff for it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working on that while Sophia's sleeping, and of course when she's awake, it's me and her. She's hell on wheels. She's a year now, and she's just run. She can walk. She can almost run. She's trying.
Crazy.
So I'm entertaining her throughout the day. But when she does go down for, I've been working on that, and then I've Cullen. Literally, the other thing I've been doing during this quarantine is dumping all of my savings into the stock market.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that. I need to learn about that some more. Yeah, if you
money I'm going to make off this.
Yeah, anybody that invested in toilet papers.
Lining quarantine, but yeah, I do think that eventually it's all going to blow over, and so I've been investing in like FedEx and Delta Airlines and Gold and Exxon, and like companies that I know aren't going to fail. Like no one can afford for these companies to fail. Like the really, really rich people can't afford for these stocks to not go back up. So those are the ones I put my money into while it's in this dip. I'm trying to buy low, sell high. So I've literally, you open like I sit here, and when it's just me, and I'll open the same 3 apps on my phone over and over and over again. Well, now I've added to that Public, which is the app that you told me about.
Oh, Public Hello. Yeah.
Stock market, and I love that one. It's better than Robinhood, I think. But I love it. I was just watching my money, and then yesterday it was like down $60, and today I'm up $50, and I'm like, woo! So it's like gambling, it's addicting. But all my money's in there now, so let's hope that this gets better.
I saw a meme that was like my travel schedule during the quarantine, and it was like a picture of 4 apps with an airplane going in between each app, just showing that you travel with your finger through all 4 apps and just keep circling through them. But
and time comes up, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
do.
Cool. This has been an interesting way to do it this week, but hope y'all enjoyed this podcast.
I think we might have to podcast like this for a while, because I don't want your disease carrying ass coming anywhere near me.
I know. We've got to be safe and sorry. Yeah.
We're going to be super safe right now. it's like me. I'm pregnant, so I'm like, everybody stay away from me. But I
Yeah.
hope everybody that's listening and watching, I hope that y'all are all being safe and smart. I mean, it's not like you can't leave your house. Like I told this one lady off the other day because she said something to me about going to the beach. Well, I had gone to the beach before we had any cases here that I knew. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I was like, it's not that big of a deal. But while I was there, I used safe practices. Like, what if you live on the beach and that's your backyard? Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
Well, now they've
Like,
closed all the beaches down because it got so crazy.
we did just in the nick of time. But it's like you can practice social distancing and be smart about it. Like you said, you went to the park. Like I can go outside of my house and it's for my sanity, and so my stress doesn't go crazy. You know what I mean? I got to think about these things. I can leave the house. I'm gonna go on a hike in the woods away from everybody. Like you can still leave the house, just be smart about it. For now, Cullen,
Yeah.
they might make it where you can't leave your house soon. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I've heard of that too. There, L.A. was on lockdown earlier this week, and other places too, Illinois and.
I heard that they're like the military's gonna come on the streets and like keep people in their house.
It's crazy. All right, well, we will keep y'all updated, and y'all stay tuned for.
Leave us voice messages. Tell us how y'all are dealing with it, or comment if you're watching this on YouTube, and of course, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Go check out Victims
Victims.
on the podcasting app. And next week, Cullen, let's see where we are.
Yeah, I might.
Go ahead, we're all gonna be praying.
Yes. All right, that does it. Episode 92 done. See y'all next week. Don't tell mom. Peace.